Cats are masters at hiding discomfort, and cold is no exception. Unlike humans, they don't complain, shiver dramatically, or seek help in obvious ways. Instead, they adapt quietly, through posture, movement, and subtle behavioral changes that often go unnoticed. When a cat feels cold, its body begins to conserve heat instinctively. This shift appears not as panic, but as small decisions: where they rest, how they position themselves, and how much they move. These signs are easy to miss, unless you know exactly what to look for. In this video, we'll uncover the clear but often misunderstood behaviors that show your cat may be feeling cold. Not guesses, not repeated cliches, but real, observable signals rooted in feline instinct. Once you learn them, you'll never overlook your cat's comfort again. 1. Curling their body tightly into a compact shape. When a cat feels cold, its body instinctively tries to conserve heat. One of the clearest signs is a sudden change in posture. Instead of stretching out comfortably, your cat pulls its legs inward, tucks its paws beneath its chest, and wraps its tail tightly around its body. This compact position reduces heat loss and protects the most sensitive areas from the cold. A relaxed, warm cat takes up space. A cold cat minimizes it. You may notice your cat sleeping in a tight ball rather than sprawled out, even in places where it normally relaxes fully. This isn't preference or mood, it's biology at work. Their muscles remain slightly tense, their spine curves inward, and their movements become slower and more deliberate. This posture is not about comfort. It's about survival and warmth. And when it appears suddenly, it's often the first silent sign that your cat is feeling colder than it should. 2. Seeking unusual heat sources. A cat that feels cold doesn't always choose obvious warm spots. Instead, it begins searching for new sources of heat, places it normally ignores. You may notice your cat suddenly lying near radiators, curling up beside electronics, resting close to vents, or pressing its body against warm appliances. This behavior isn't curiosity, it's strategic. Cats instinctively identify areas that release even small amounts of warmth. A laptop, a router, a sunny patch that disappears quickly. These become valuable resources when their body temperature feels low. Your cat may return to these spots repeatedly, choosing heat over comfort. When a cat starts favoring heat-producing objects over its usual resting places, it's a quiet sign that warmth has become a priority. They are not being picky. They are compensating. If you see your cat choosing warmth over familiarity, it's often because their body needs it more than you realize. 3. Moving less and becoming unusually still. When a cat feels cold, it instinctively reduces movement to conserve energy and body heat. You may notice your cat becoming quieter than usual, walking less, playing less, and spending longer periods completely still. This isn't laziness. It's a physical response to feeling cold. A warm, comfortable cat changes positions often, stretches, and shifts its body freely. A cold cat does the opposite. It chooses one spot, settles in, and stays there, avoiding unnecessary motion that would cause heat loss. This stillness can be subtle. They may sit longer before standing up, hesitate before moving rooms, or pause as if deciding whether the movement is worth the effort. Their body is prioritizing warmth over activity. When you see a normally curious or playful cat become unusually inactive, especially alongside other cold-seeking behaviors, it's often a sign that your cat is trying to protect its body temperature quietly without drawing attention. 4. Cold ears, paws, or nose to the touch. One of the most overlooked signs that a cat is cold is temperature change in the extremities. While a cat's core body works hard to stay warm, areas like the ears, paws, and nose lose heat first. If you gently touch your cat and notice that these areas feel noticeably cooler than usual, it's often a quiet warning. Cats naturally redirect warmth to vital organs when they're cold. As a result, blood flow to the ears and paws decreases, making them feel cool, sometimes even cold, to your hand. This can happen even when the room doesn't feel cold to you. You may also notice your cat lifting its paws briefly while standing or shifting weight from one paw to another. This behavior isn't restlessness. It's an instinctive attempt to reduce contact with cold surfaces. When a cat's ears and paws lose warmth, the body is already compensating. And that compensation is a clear sign your cat would benefit from a warmer environment. 5. Choosing enclosed or hidden spaces. More than usual, when a cat feels cold, open areas stop feeling safe. Instead of resting in visible open spots, your cat may begin choosing enclosed spaces, inside boxes, under blankets, behind furniture, or in tight corners where heat is easier to trap. This behavior isn't about fear or privacy, it's about insulation. Small enclosed spaces help a cat retain body heat by limiting airflow and reducing heat loss. That's why a cold cat suddenly finds cardboard boxes irresistible, squeezes into drawers, or burrows under clothes and bedding it normally ignores. You may notice your cat pressing its body against walls or curling up in narrow gaps. These spaces act like natural heat shields, protecting them from drafts and temperature drops that feel insignificant to humans, but not to cats. When a cat starts favoring tight hidden spots over its usual resting places, it's often because warmth, not comfort or habit, has become the priority. This quiet shift in where your cat chooses to rest is one of the clearest signs that they are trying to stay warm on their own. Cats rarely tell us when they are uncomfortable. They adjust quietly, relying on instinct rather than sound. Through posture, movement, and subtle changes in behavior, they try to protect their bodies without drawing attention. When you learn to recognize these signs, you give your cat something invaluable: comfort before distress. A warmer environment, a protected resting space, or a small adjustment in routine can make a significant difference in how safe and relaxed they feel. Cold may seem minor, but prolonged discomfort affects a cat's energy, immunity, and overall well-being. Noticing early signs means responding with care, not waiting for obvious symptoms. Now that you know what to look for, pay attention to the quiet signals. Your cat depends on you to notice what they will never say out loud.